Paltrocast.
Okay. Well, how is your day going aside from asking, and answering questions from the same people about the same things? Good day otherwise?
It's nice. Yeah, we just got 2 feet of snow up here in Maine, and I'm building 2 houses, and I'm running back and forth between each job sites, babysitting a bunch of guys that stand around and smoke cigarettes all day. So it's a good day. Yeah.
The last time I had the pleasure of interviewing you, before we go into all the impact stuff, I learned about the Joe Gomez real estate empire
Joe Gomez. Oh yes,
that
Joe Gomez.
that you've been part of. So you go
When
between Maine and Florida regularly, or are you fully back in Maine now?
I sold my properties in Tampa because I met my fiance up here in Maine, and I invested those earnings into different buildings up here. But once Mama and I are expecting a child, we are going to develop a house north of Tampa probably and end up setting up shop down there because the snow is just not it's not doing it. It ain't it up here, man.
Well, congratulations in advance. Congrats on your recent marriage, etc. But we're here to talk about how you're still one of the top people in wrestling and TNA is back, etc. So Hard to
Yep.
Kill, you have a big match with PCO. What should we expect? Just a quick victory from you?
Um, what you should expect is me be limping, probably gonna limp out of Vegas, catching my red eye back to Boston because PCO. I've been asked this a few times over the last week. I forgot to go. Um, how do you come up with a plan for a guy like that? So, luckily, I've got Alpha Bravo and Oleg ringside. So hopefully it become a numbers game, and pray for me, guys. That's Frankenstein.
Yeah, so you're part of that. Then TNA has other shows in New Orleans, Orlando, Canada. Are you part of all those shows?
Yeah, I believe I am. Yes, I'm looking forward to getting out of the cold, and TNA has been running and is running some really cool markets coming up in 2024. Love going to Vegas. There's always a great crowd there. I don't think I've been to New Orleans with them yet. Atlanta is always a great show at Center Stage, and obviously Chicago. So yeah, the 2024 is looking really great.
Now, going back to you and your success, when you signed with Impact, which is now TNA, did you know it was going to be a long-term deal, or was it a month-by-month situation?
I signed a year deal, January of 23, I think it was. So about a year ago, I signed a year deal, and then I just signed another year contract, which will be up, I think, December. I was kind of told myself I'd wrestle to 40, and then I was going to kind of probably ease up a bit. But like I tell everybody, it's what I've done my whole life. I don't know how to not be a wrestler, and I just being around at TNA is maybe really fall back in love with wrestling. There's so many great guys and girls there. It's just some locker rooms you walk into, and it's not that. You still there, bud?
Yes, still there. I'm just listening to you talk about how great TNA is.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I thought I lost you. I'm up here in the woods in Maine, so sometimes I drop calls. But yeah, just walking into the locker room there, it felt like a reunion because I've known everybody for years. And I worked for TNA back in '03, so there's some faces that I've known for 20 years that, the Johnny Swingers. And I remember running into Scott D'Amore 20 years ago, and great guys like Shelly and Rhino, Tommy Dreamer. And it's one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in. So sometimes you go into a locker room and you don't really know anybody, and it's not that much fun. And this is one of those locker rooms you love flying out to and kind of catching up with everybody.
So the hassle of flying to Boston, flying in and out of Boston, the Maine drive, etc., it's all worth it because you love the locker room out there.
Exactly, and I love money too.
Well, three quick questions before I let you go to the job site and
Yes,
reprimand
sir.
everybody. The first one
Yeah.
is, have you gotten any new Deftones tattoos since our last
No.
interview?
My most recent tattoo is a Bray Wyatt tattoo, right next to Brody, and I've been trying to fill my arm sleeve up, man. I don't literally have any time to sit for 5 hours a day. It's just I because you go get a piece done, it's 4, 3, 5, 6 hours
Yeah.
commitment. I barely have enough time right now to do an hour worth of phoners. So no new Deftones tattoos. Still my favorite band of all time, but most recent one is Wyndham Rotunda.
Oh, okay. Well deserved, to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Next question. What is the number two hobby or passion outside of the wife and wrestling?
Um, Developing property for sure. Um, I've got a bunch of hobbies. I'm into the recovery world. I help guys, girls stay sober. Church. My fiance and I are pretty active with the local church here, and as of late, with the projects, it's been consuming most of my life developing these two buildings. So yeah, hopefully when it slows down a little bit, we move down to Florida, we can enjoy some beach time with WCW Desperado Joe Gomez. Hopefully.
And the last question, kind of a stock one, but in joining TNA Impact, now we know is TNA again. Is
Yep.
there a career goal you're still working towards that you haven't accomplished yet? Because I look at you and I go, this is a guy who's been on television for 15 to 20 years,
Yeah.
world renowned, etc. So it's not like you're one of those people who has an axe to grind about getting famous, but is there still a title or anything you're working towards within TNA?
Just text a friend of mine who's kind of checked everything on my bucket list, and the one final thing I would like to do before I retire, whether it's next year, in 5 years, I don't know, is to wrestle in Japan. Just one loop, one tour. I always wanted to go there as a kid. So as the career winds down and there's still things left on your bucket list, you kind of really want to check them off. You know what I'm saying? So when you're in your 50s, you don't really have any regrets.
Right.
Yeah.
With Japan, following up on that before I let you go, would you go over as Dirty Dango, Dirty Curdy, or would you suddenly become this very serious wrestler wearing a singlet?
That's the thing is wrestling is really weird. Is people want to bring you in for the kind of the character that brought you to the dance, for lack of a better term. So sometimes if you're trying to reinvent yourself, the promoter will, and be serious. The promoter will be like, "Hey, just go out and dance." So it kind of depends on which promotion you're working at. If there's television, you can kind of reinvent yourself, like I'm doing in TNA, because you have time and equity to establish a new story.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to do probably a one-off in Japan, they'd probably just want me to come out with my bell bottoms on and just give the best of Guns N' Roses, Paradise City, and just get the hell out of there. So they don't want to hear my new album.
They don't want to hear the general from Chinese Democracy, but
exactly, yeah. So, yeah. If I was to sign a contract or stay over there for a while, I think then you could develop something new. But yeah, probably give them the old hip swivel.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is you're still doing amazing work at this phase of your career. Really looking forward to what's to come. And thank you for the many years of great entertainment and sportsmanship. Yeah. And hopefully you put that monster to bay there.
Pray for me, my friend. Pray for me.
Paltrocast.